Hello and welcome to Two Trees Gaming. We're heading to Warhammer World for an 800-point doubles tournament. Myself and Aaron are taking a MINAS MORGUL army consisting of 3 Mordor Trolls as they burst through the gates of Minas Tirith. Louis and Leon are taking an almost all-mounted HALLS of Thranduriil army. Last time we went to Warhammer World doubles, we finished 1st and 4th, and we're going to do all we can to retain that title. Before we get into it though, just a few little shout-outs. Firstly, a massive thank you to MESBG Repair on Etsy, who helped 3D print Louis and Leon's board. It was kind of a little bit of a bespoke design, and we're really happy with how that turned up. If you like our content, there's a lot of other good creators on YouTube. Definitely go check out Conquest Creations. We just played them in a battle report over on their channel, and then Jacob from Conquest Creations is going to be featuring on our channel pretty soon. We were also on Entmoot. He came for a little mini tournament we hosted for our patrons. It went really well, and that Entmoot was just great listening and really captured the chaos of the whole event. Harry did such a good job with that. We've also got an SBG magazine from Damien to give away as a prize to one of our patrons, and we've got some as yet unreleased Baron of dice, which we will be doing a giveaway of, although not in this video. It's already long enough. But if you do need dice, Baron of Dice is definitely the place. They've got so many Middle-earth related dice, and they keep adding more. So if you've not been on their site for a while, go and check them out. They've got so much stuff on there. They're all excellent, and they all roll sixes at least 1/6 of the time. But for now, let's go to Warhammer World for doubles. We're on our way to what is my favourite tournament of the year. It's doubles at Warhammer World, and it's got Throne of Skull scoring.
You come with a friend automatically.
I've got a social buffer.
Somebody else can do the talking for you.
It's Throne of Skull scoring, so it's 25% best game votes most sporting, 25% best painted, and then 50% how you perform in the game. And for the first time ever, half of the car is going to the tournament as reigning champions. Woo! Team B. But we've split for legislation reasons because we said we're going to rotate. So it's myself and Aaron teaming up, and Louis and Leon teaming up.
Long story short, we are an almost fully mounted Mirkwood Cav army.
Amazing.
I've got 10 cavalry. I want to say 3 rangers and a sentinel.
Yeah. And Thranduil.
And Thranduil, obviously, yeah.
I'm Legolas mounted with Orcust, 8 Cav, Tariel and 3 Rangers. So we've got 18 Cav plus Thranduil plus Legolas.
And for doubles, that's 2 good leaders, plenty of mobility, ways to move the opponent around. It could actually smash.
We literally did it for the models, and then we looked at it.
Okay.
Same old story.
Genuinely, we're like, these are
So themey as well. Yeah. It's so themey. It's probably the most themey army I've ever seen.
Who remembers Louis' really themey Barrowite army as well? Oh yeah. Do you know what though, Leon? It's you I'm disappointed in. He's dragged you down. You've not risen him up.
Well, it took me about 3 weeks to convince him not to take Barrowites. So I had to settle somewhere. You know what I mean?
So what kind of buffs you getting?
So we are within 6 inches of Thranduil. The knights are +1 fight, so we're fight 6, +1 defense to defense 6. A banner around Thranduil and Legolas, and +1 to wound around Thranduil, and their hand and house. We get 2-handed weapons, so +2 to wound around Thranduil, and if we get the Sentinel involved, they can also cause terror. So we've got Mirkwood Knights, Dalamroth Knights, High Elf fucking Knights as well, all rolled into one for 16 points.
And then our army, we've gone for the scene where the 3 trolls.
The most competitive army you could possibly think of.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
I can't wait to throw Thranduil.
Wait, just before you start, so when you're sitting down and thinking about a doubles army, you're thinking, right, definitely 2 good leaders. You want some good mobility, at least in your secondary half, if not both. You want some decent numbers, good levels of might.
Yep.
Anything else?
What's more mobile than a Mordor Troll?
Well, I've got a Witch King leading my half, and he's on a Felby, so he's mobile. Who's leading your half, Aaron?
Mighty or Captain.
Mighty, too mighty or Captain.
Well, he's got a Taskmaster friend, so potentially infinite Mighty.
So my half is the Witch King, 9 Morannons, I think. One of the which has got a banner and a Mordor Troll. And what's your half, Aaron?
I am infinitely mighty world captain, leading 2 trolls, orc with a banner, a taskmaster, and 20 orcs, we'll say. 20 orcs.
And the
20.
key thing was, we for some reason I decided we wanted to take the Witch King, so I wanted the mobility and a leader, and it's cool as anything, and he's in that scene.
He's not really in that.
Just after.
I'm a little twitchy. You're costing us best army votes by gaming it.
If we went for Legions of Mordor, he has to take the Crown of Morgul, and that just makes him crazy expensive. So then we've pivoted.
And Legions of Mordor crap.
And Legions of Mordor's crap.
That also helps.
So we've gone for MINAS MORGUL, which just has some much better buffs and a cheaper Witch King.
It's the cheaper Witch King. The 25 points on the crown was
3 orcs.
It was 3 orcs.
Which is half my army.
You were losing your banner.
Yeah.
So,
As much as I beat around the bush about Mirkwood Cav buffs, you beat around the bush about getting Blades of the Dead with your entire army.
Yeah, it's pretty handy.
Yeah. It's going to be useful, especially
quite a few 2-handed weapons as well.
we're very nearly there. Really excited for doubles. Hopefully one of us can retain the title.
Fuck, that's a big ass.
And hopefully they're not sat in the back, but I think there's more chance they are.
Do you remember we had Spider Queen and Razgush load of spiders?
We broke the game last time. They
I can't believe you got any best game votes.
How did we get best game votes? You know what though? They were great games, weren't they, last time? It was super competitive.
You always get doubles. You do always get nice games of doubles.
Yeah.
I remember that time you brought 3 horses in and you only won it. Yeah. Aye.
Well, you finished 4th.
Everybody laughed at us. Everybody laughed at us.
So
This is completing the set now.
Aye.
yeah. For take and hold, each team's primary and secondary forces deploy diagonally from each other, 12 inches in from the corners. There's one objective in the centre of the board. You score 4 victory points if you have more models within 6 inches of the objective than your opponent, 8 victory points if you have twice as many, and 12 victory points if you have 3 times as many models there, or are the only one with models near the objective. You get 1 victory point for wounding the enemy leader, or 3 for killing them, and 1 victory point for breaking the opponent, or 3 if you break them and are not broken yourself. When one army has broken, roll a dice at the end of each turn. On the roll of a 1 or a 2, the game ends. If not, play continues and roll again at the end of the next turn. And there is a special rule for this scenario. Models within 6 inches of the objective gain the resistance to magic special rule and may re-roll failed fate rolls. Our game 1 was against Jason and Brendan, and it was so good. They were amazing opponents with a terrifying army, quite literally. They were the Return of the King with Aragorn in one half and the King of the Dead and Legolas in the other. It was everything we didn't want to face. We were split up against an army with high mobility. They had 8-inch move on the dead, plus a free march with Aragorn. They had the King of the Dead who could kill a troll with a single successful wound roll, and the Witch King is a bit of a target for Legolas. We started the game with a plan to meet up in the centre, but Aragorn's heroic march and the 11-inch move on the dead made a mockery of it. Both Jason and Brendan angled toward Aaron, so I moved my warriors and troll toward the middle, hoping that the troll's dominant rule might come in useful in the endgame. I left the Witch King floating around the back of Brendan's army with the intent of flying over to Aaron to give his orcs a fearless equivalent. But an unbelievable opportunity presented itself. Jason had left the King of the Dead on his front rank and exposed to a heroic combat from the Witch King. My whole game plan was to mitigate the amount of trolls he could bring down, and so removing him entirely from the game on turn 2 was just all too appetizing. They left him exposed, didn't they?
Yeah.
And there was a big heroic combat, and I was like, the King of the Dead can one-shot these trolls. We just need him out of the game. So I heroic combated with the Witch King into the King of the Dead.
Against my advice.
Against Aaron's advice, because we had slightly different information. I was thinking of the old edition, where he was 2 wounds, fight value 5. Turns out he's fight value 6 and 3 wounds. Went in there, won the combat, but on 3 wounds, but he's still left with 2 wounds and a fate or something like that at the end of it. And then I'm there in the middle, right next to the King of the Dead for the next turn. And basically, I got lucky. Legolas was too far away to help with a heroic move, and they decided not to spend the King's only point of might on a move, thinking they might need it later for a strike. So I got to move my Witch King first, and I didn't fold to Jason's gentle peer pressuring, and I ran away like a true hero. What's worse for them though is that Legolas wounded the Witch King on the following turn, and I spent my last point of might, which would have been spent countering their heroic move, on staying alive after rolling a 1, a 2 and a 3 for my fate. The Witch King really could have easily died a few times over that turn. Here's the thing though, yes, the Witch King was alive, but so was the King of the Dead. And whilst Aaron was busy keeping Aragorn on the deck by throwing models into him, the king one-shotted my troll and was heading for Aaron's. What's more, I was losing the fight in the centre and we were not holding the objective. Soon enough, the king had walked through a second troll and was onto a third. And here's Aaron's emotional roller coaster as our last troll is charged by the King of the Dead, only manages a 5 high, but then somehow wins the duel roll and kills the king, or re-kills him. And pretty soon after that, Aragorn, who's been maimed by thrown allies, is killed by Aaron's lowly orc captain, and it's great news, but there's only moments left in this game and we're a long way from the objective.
Last turn of the game, we got the Witch King near the objective but not in it, and it's very, very even in terms of the models and who's winning, who's
That's the
losing.
bit that you were fighting, and where I was fighting, everything was dead.
But you couldn't get over quick enough.
No.
So we had a crucial play, and the Witch King threw a Warrior of Dead into a Warrior of Dead who was in the middle of the board, killed both, which took a model out of the middle, which meant then that we had double. And then that gave us the major victory, and in the end it was quite decisive, but it was a brilliant game. And
Really good, yeah.
Absolutely love playing them and would love to do it again.
We were playing against Cirith Ungol,
Yeah.
which on paper I really like as a doubles list. You've got 2 good leaders, you've got quite a lot of models, not the best mobility, but you can still got Shelob, so like, it's good for doubles, but as is also good for doubles. I think their main problem was they didn't have any spears, so the load of Mordor Uruks, defense 4 for a start wasn't ideal, but they didn't have they didn't have the weight of dice. So if we're going to go in there two-handed, you need a weight of dice. If you've got a shield, a block of shield, you've got 2 swords and 2 spears, we're then all of a sudden thinking, can we afford to go two-handed because we're going to die? But actually ploughing into 1 or 2 Mordor Uruks, we were winning all the combats. Even if we didn't get a natural 6, we didn't need to because they were -1 as well.
Yeah.
Shagrat was blocked in by 2 guys. So Legolas went into charge, matching fight, so he didn't, so I could have heroic combated into him, but he didn't, he decided not to strike in defense.
Okay.
Because I could have burst through and gone into him, but I heroic combated with Legolas, and you heroic combated with Thranduil. Legolas heroic combat just to get out of the way. Thranduil comes in with fight 7, smashed him in 1 turn, and you managed to sentinel out their last hero with a Standfast, who they'd kind of kept at the back. I think they were thinking, right, we're going to break, we need to get Standfast. Sentinel to Mordor captain out, mobbed by 5 knights. It was just...
Sentinel's been good.
Sentinel's been brilliant, really good points.
So what was the score in the end? It sounds pretty convincing.
Finished 18-0.
18-0.
Because we not got the banner.
We tabled them.
We didn't have the banner.
You tabled them, but 18-0 because no banner. Wow, well played.
They were really good opponents, and it wasn't
Brilliant opponents.
It wasn't looking like a tabling the whole time.
18-0, I think ours ended up being 16-0, didn't it?
Yeah.
And what that meant was, going into game 2, we were drawn against each other.
So huge results for us all in game 1. A close 16-0 win for myself and Aaron, and I really do mean that, even though it doesn't sound close. And a less close but still fun 18-0 win for Louis and Leon. These games really do snowball sometimes, but it's major wins, and that's great, and it meant for game 2 we'd be facing off against each other. Before that, though, is a painting competition where you can enter any legal warband. It's a high pressure environment taking these picks as I queue along and vote for them myself, but have a look at some of these. Well played to everyone who put something in there and for the amount of effort that has gone into all these models. Day 2 will have the judges' army selections, and there's one in particular that I just fell in love with, but that's for later. Right now, it's a 2 Trees Civil War. In Duel of Wits, each team deploys their armies in diagonal quarters of the board, but not within 12 inches of the centre. Each player secretly writes down one enemy hero to be their target, so both teams will have 2 targets. You may not discuss with your teammate which hero you're selecting. You score 2 victory points for each of your team's targets that have been wounded, or 4 for each that have been slain. If both players chose the same hero, you score the victory points twice for that hero. You get 3 victory points for each of your opponent's targets that are within 6 inches of the centre of the board, again scoring double if they selected the same hero. It's 1 victory point for breaking the opponent, or 2 if you break them and are not broken yourself. You get 1 victory point for having a banner alive at the end of the game, or 2 if you have a banner alive and your opponent doesn't. And you score 2 victory points if the opponent has no banners remaining at the end of the game. When one army is broken, roll a dice at the end of each turn. On a 1 or a 2, the game ends. If not, play continues and roll again at the end of the next turn. So we've been drawn against each other and we're playing all 4 of us on one table playing a match play scenario, not for the first time at a tournament, but for the first time ever. The only other time that all 4 of us have been on one table together has been for narrative games, and the gloves were off, we were not holding back, and it did not disappoint. Louis and Leon dropped Thranduil, central-ish in his deployment zone. I dropped the Witch King as far away from him as possible, but more importantly, as close to Legolas as possible. I wanted to take him out early to protect the Witch King if I could. Having all the trolls and the Felbeasts nearby should be enough to keep him on the ground for a good portion of the game. Louis deployed toward the centre of his deployment, about 10 inches from both mine and Aaron's armies, and we then selected our targets. Myself and Aaron each selected our target in secret and we didn't confer, despite some incredulous accusations. I'd picked Tariel, and it was my assumption that Aaron had gone for a 2.
Scenario's Duel of Wits, so that's the one where we've got to secretly pick an opponent's model.
You cheating
You're not making
bastard.
fair, obviously. You're not making fair.
We didn't confer.
we didn't. There was
You
no
fucking conferred. There was
conferring.
no conferring.
No conferring in the front half of the van. So Thranduil went near me, didn't he? And then we decided, originally we were going to go for Leon.
Yeah.
And then we were like, no, we're going to pivot and go for Louis. So I deployed close to Louis. You ended up close to him and he ended up close to you.
Yeah, you and Leon were going to go for Thranduil, for Jake, weren't you?
Yes, so the whole plan was to go away from the 2 Mordor Trolls and go straight in for the Witch King, shut the Witch King down, because otherwise late game he's going to come into it.
Yeah.
So I was going to go Witch King side, so were you. But the way you deployed, because you don't write down who you want until after.
Yeah.
So then you deployed 2 Trolls with the captain in the middle, and I was like, it's at night, so I've got a clear shot, I've got Tariel, Legolas, 3 shots, clear shot here.
I also thought
I can kill the captain's first turn.
And my shooting as well. I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
same on
So I was like, can I kill the captain first turn?
But then something happened Louis did not intend. My Witch King got involved and compelled a knight to within charge range of one of Aaron's trolls. It would mean Louis' archers would have to move to be able to shoot at Aaron's orc captain. It could also be a useful barge, or at worst it would be a free kill for us. We were inviting them out, and Aaron had positioned himself well, with his trolls in charge range, his captain reachable but in a 1 versus 1, and his orcs safe behind.
I saw the chance in a bit hot-headed. If we killed that troll, we've heroic commented off that troll, either into another one and into the captain, because the captain was there as well.
Yeah.
You
So,
put Tariel and Legolas in, didn't you, with a strike and a combat?
Yeah.
so I was killing,
Should've turned
potentially,
the
in my brain, 2 trolls on the captain first turn and moonwalking out there, like, fuck you guys.
It didn't quite pan out that way though. The knights all went 2-handed and fluffed, and a charging Legolas along with Tariel could only manage a 4 high. Having struck and combated, they were now committed and spent Tariel's last 2 points of might just to win the fight. But their wounding roll was worse than their duel roll. They only managed to inflict 3 wounds, and the heroic combat was unsuccessful. It was a disaster for them.
We were then, might was massive for us. Legolas had 2, Tariel's got none, Thranduil's got 3, but he's miles away. And I just had to stay out of 12 of Legolas with the Witch King. That was the main objective.
Our whole tactic is you just stay away. Just let me deal with it. Let me deal with it.
Let the old captain lose.
It wasn't quite that simple though. The threat of Legolas's bow with +1 to wound due to the scenario being at night was enough to keep the Witch King out of the fight, and our brave orc captain was trapped in a series of 1 versus 1s with Tariel. There was potentially a lot of victory points riding on that duel. We lost a pair of heroic move roll-offs to Legolas, which meant we had to take a charge, but he was now out of might, and thanks to our tournament MVP, the Taskmaster, we hadn't spent any.
The knights had 1 massive charge, didn't they, while they had might, and we went from not being broken to being close to broken, and then there was no might left for you, and we had the charge against cavalry all the time until Leon arrived, but it was almost too late, wasn't it? And we were massively ahead, and then 2 things happened. The orc captain died, and
let's be honest, wasn't it?
Both Louis and Leon went, "Oi!" At which point I'm like, they've both picked the orc captain. In comes the Witch King.
Tariel and Legolas both die, but Leon breaks through my makeshift defense, and he enters the battle with Thranduil and his might points. And through some good play, he surrounds and kills the Witch King. But I'm pretty confident Aaron's picked Tariel, and Aaron's banner is still alive, so we're winning. It's not quite the end of the game though.
Then there's literally 40 seconds left on the clock.
I'm like, oh guys, right, that's it, we're done. I think that's it. That's all over. Jake's like, no, we should play another turn.
But there's 40 seconds
No, we should
left.
play another
You do such a good impression of it.
Yeah, play another turn. No, turn.
In the interest of the spirit of the game,
Yeah, which was nice to shake hands, we'll have a bit of time, we'll go and get a drink. Can't everybody be happy?
Aaron had mathed it a little bit better than me as well, but basically we're
Fucking
eight.
close, so you not math it at all.
Whatever
The
it
only
was.
hero left on the board was Thranduil.
I knew I'd not picked Thranduil. I was pretty confident Aaron hadn't. And
Pretty confident.
Yeah, pretty confident when he fucking told me before the game.
I don't know who we picked. But yeah, I'd picked Tariel.
I picked
Aaron had
Tariel.
picked Tariel. As it transpires, Louis had picked the Orc Captain, but Leon, cheering for the kill of the Orc Captain, was just enthused by the game. I thought he was trying to send a secret message to Louis to say, this is what I've killed. Nope, he just loved that the Orc Captain died, and he'd picked the Witch King. So him getting in on the Witch King, killing him was massive, but we were still winning. 40 seconds on the clock.
Everybody's happy to just call it quits.
But we carry
Need
on.
to carry on.
And with 40 seconds left, we roll a courage check with our banner. Our banner flees, and it ends up a draw. And it's an
9-9 draw.
absolute disaster. 9-9 draw.
Nobody's happy.
Nobody's happy. Nobody's happy. Yeah.
It was nice to just smash it out because I know some people don't like having really, really hyper competitive games in a throne of
There
schools
was
type.
no holding back, was there?
But it was nice because I knew that you weren't going to be put off by that.
I was brilliant, aye. When I was dating, we were getting the 6 inches exact.
Yeah.
And these guys' banners are going for 6 inches.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well,
these guys have got 8 inch
3.2 inch
banners.
banners, 6.2 inch banners. Yeah.
In Total Conquest, there are 5 objective markers. One is placed in the centre of the board, the other 4 are placed halfway between the middle and the corners of the board. Team A deploys their primary force in a 6-inch semicircle in the centre of the board. Team B then does the same. Both secondary forces arrive via the rules for Maelstrom of Battle on screen now. You score 1 victory point for each objective where you have more models within 3 inches. 2 victory points for having twice as many models there, and 3 victory points if you're the only player with models within 3 inches. You score 1 victory point for breaking the opponent, or 2 victory points if you're not broken and you break them, and it's 1 victory point for wounding the enemy leader, or 3 for killing them. The game ends when one force is reduced to 25% of its starting number. For Game 3, we were matched up against Davide and Ian and their Battle of Fornos list. I had to deploy first in the centre of the board and would be matched opposite Aenor. We got lucky with the positioning of a house and I was able to hold my flank against it. I also used the objective in the centre of the board as a blocker as models can't finish on top of objectives. With the troll on the opposite flank to the house, I was able to put the Witch King behind my line and guarantee he'd be able to move whether I won priority or not. I was vastly outnumbered in the centre, but I was happy with deployment. And as usual in a Maelstrom game, getting or giving priority on the first turn would be huge. But this scenario is unique in that half the army is in the middle wanting to charge, and half wants to arrive after the opponent to see where they appear due to Maelstrom. We won priority, and knowing my Witch King would be free to move and cast magic, we gave it to them. We maybe made a mistake with the Maelstrom as we got to choose where Glorfindel and some Elven archers came on and we put them behind our line. His 12-inch move meant he was in the action in no time, and now they had a band of archers holding an objective, but their big heroes were separate. The rest of the elves and their elven captain was split onto a different board edge again, and we rolled a 6 and chased after them with Aaron's army. We were very aware of their big threats and how good they were against trolls. Aenor would always go to a roll-off, and Glorfindel has brutal power attack immunity and the higher fight value, and +1 to wound versus monsters. Not great for us. The most helpful thing we could do against them would be to drain them of their might, and then stall them with orcs or magic, so the top priority became killing their disposable might in the form of a Minas Tirith captain and an elf captain.
Turn 2, essentially, either my Witch King heroic combated off the Gondor captain in the middle, and your trolls killed the elf captain.
Yeah, took out all their disposable might.
Which took out all the disposable might, so now they're having to spend might for moves with Aenor and Glorfindel, or choosing not to move, which lets the Witch King do a spell and get the charge. It all started to kind of go a bit right for us at that point, didn't it?
And then it started to go wrong, as Glorfindel disposed of a troll in a single round of combat, and the Witch King started to struggle against Aenor. But the Taskmaster once again arrived with a 3 point of might at a vital time, and allowed me to transfix and strike against Aenor, who I promptly killed. A couple of trolls then hit out against spear supports, and we had to be careful to not kill too quickly. The following turn we opted against just endlessly barging with our trolls and shielding with our orcs in the interest of making it a better game, but through some crazy good luck, we ended up rolling 3 ones to wound an elf with a troll to keep them one model above 25% and us still not broken. That allowed us an extra turn to spread to the objectives and cemented us a major win. It was a really great game against a beautiful army and some fantastic opponents. Let's see how Louis and Leon are getting on. They were up against Durin with 4 Vault Warden teams and 6 Hearthguard alongside him, and Mardin arriving in support.
We won priority, but obviously in the middle you want to win the priority and get the roll off. So we decided to give them priority, but then call heroic move with Thranduil to still get the charge in the middle.
Yeah.
We then won that roll off to manage to engulf around.
So you got the perfect, you got the Maelstrom and the charge in the middle.
But they rolled ones with both Mardin and the Dwarf King. So, but that's not the end of the world because they're so slow moving. Legolas came on, Tariel came on, and all of a sudden we're outnumbering him 2 to 1.
We were working our way towards the fight in the middle.
Yeah.
They were going to have to come on somewhere. When he came on with one of them, it was we had to decide. So we stuck him down in the corner.
Yeah.
And they came on the other side.
So we put them both on in the far corner and they move slow. So they can't get to the objectives. So that army in the middle, bearing in mind, we'd won that roll off. You got Thranduil, you got 10 Mirkwood Knights, engulfed them, almost surrounded them entirely.
They absolutely smashed us at times. We had a couple of turns where I took 4 knights off at a time.
100%.
And it was, I think we had 2 in a row. And I looked round and I'd say to you, I was like, we need to watch what we're doing here. Yeah. We could actually be broken in a couple 100%. Of turns if this keeps going this way.
So it was fairly early on in the game, we were thinking, it's 25% and we need objectives.
Yeah.
They moved to grab some objectives where they could, and then they had a bold play to heroic strike and combat off Durin.
Firstly, Durin rolls a 3 high, but then he's got a reroll for his axe.
Yeah.
Was the 4. Then he's got a reroll for a banner, was another 3, and then he's got a reroll for because we outnumbered him, and which was a 6. So he's got 3. He wrote 3 attacks, but 3 rerolls.
So he gets
he rolls a 6.
He got us his 6.
We rolled a 4 high.
We rolled a 4 high. Everything's 200.
And we couldn't even might anything up to even get near it. It was absolutely mental.
And he chopped down 3 Mirkwood Knights.
No, he didn't. Jesus.
And then, but we thought, fuck it, let's try again.
Go again.
So we literally manoeuvred another situation.
So we did heroic combat with Legolas to do exactly
the same again. No. We were thinking about heroic combat.
With a strike again or not?
No, we didn't have the strike. Thranduil had no might and Legolas wasn't in combat because they peeled him off.
Yep.
So Legolas heroic combated from a ranger to get in with Durin, just a more weight of dice.
Yeah.
So we went Legolas and a knight, heroic combated, killed the guy. We either pile in on Durin or Legolas runs away and keeps his. But we were broken at this point, so actually Legolas ran 10 inches back towards the objective to keep his standfast with 1 knight.
Which though, it wasn't genius though, because there was a moment we were like, actually, fuck, do we want to start running?
Yeah.
Because when we ended up killing Durin.
Yeah, we killed
So we managed to kill Durin with Thranduil and a couple of knights, I think it was. And then we were like, oh shit, why have we done it in that order?
So then next turn, we're like, yes, stand fast Tariel, stand fast Legolas, stand fast. We're like, fuck, if 3 of our men ran, 25% and we've won, 100%. And we got
we done it the wrong way around, and then we had another turn to go.
Yeah.
And then the other army managed to get in.
Over. But that extra turn, actually, we passed all our courage test again.
They failed to
and they
on
failed their objective.
No.
It was a massive swing at the end, massive swing.
They were good.
Well, Durin's got a warhorn as well, so killing him.
Yeah, that's it. He was like, oh, I've rolled a 5, passed. Oh shit, no, Durin's dead. So gone.
So what was the final score?
What was it, 13-3?
33.
Major win, 13-3.
If you're keeping track, that's 2 major wins for each of us and a draw against each other. It could not be any closer. The evening of the first day is the Green Dragon pub quiz in Bugman's Bar though, and it's always loads of fun, and we teamed up with a few friends and we did not do too badly.
And then the pub quiz was excellent, wasn't it? So we got to team up with a load of Patreons again, which was lovely. MVP was absolutely Jonathan, who is the son of the father and son combo, who bought the Wolfpack Langmore. His knowledge is off the chart.
He got Lothos Sackville Baggins on the
Guess the Pose.
Guess the Pose.
After everybody else had guessed something else.
What is the date the Dol gets destroyed? He's quoting page numbers from Defenders of the North.
But it's in the Defenders of the North, and he's looking at all of us being like, you should know that. And I'm like, but we fucking should.
He was a bit disappointed, wasn't he? We let him down a little bit.
This is your formal apology, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Right, we'll check back in tomorrow morning, but we are absolutely above it. An undefeated run of people.
Undefeated day.
Oh.
That's insane.
We prepped for day 2 with a Bugman's for breakfast.
Will not yield the field in Pelennor on foot.
For game 4, both of our teams were playing nearly identical opponents. A Balrog, a Watcher, a pair of Goblin Captains, and then a smattering of Goblins. We were playing the asymmetric scenario cornered, and all of our teams also started in the middle of the board with the Balrogs invading, but that's where the similarities ended. We had wildly different approaches to trying to win the game. Cornered is an asymmetric scenario. The area in the centre of the board should feature a defendable piece of terrain. Each team rolls a dice. The team that scores the highest is Team A and deploys their primary force within 6 inches of the centre of the board. Team B deploys their entire army in a 6-inch ring 12 inches from the centre of the board. Team A's secondary force is then deployed within 3 inches of the edge of the board. Team A scores 1 victory point if their leader is alive at the end of the game. If they've suffered no wounds, they score 3 victory points, or if they've suffered no wounds and spent no fate, they score 5 victory points instead. Team B scores 1 victory point for wounding the enemy leader, 3 victory points if they have 1 wound remaining, or 5 victory points if they've been slain. You get 3 victory points if you have more models inside the central terrain piece than your opponent, or 6 victory points if you have at least twice as many models there. 1 victory point for breaking the opponent, or 3 victory points if you're not broken and you break the opponent. You get 1 victory point for having a banner at the end of the game, or 2 victory points if you have one and the opponent doesn't. It's 2 more victory points if the opponent has no banners at the end of the game, and 2 victory points if the most expensive model in the opposing team's secondary force has been removed as a casualty. When one army is broken, roll a dice at the end of each turn. On a 1 or a 2, the game ends. If not, play continues and roll again at the end of the next turn.
How did it go? What was the game
We were in
plan?
the middle, obviously Thranduil starts in the middle. And then Legolas is coming on the outside. So they, obviously for us, so we got to defend Thranduil, but we also have to kill the Balrog because we need to kill their leader for points and we need to break them for points. So we had to, so we couldn't just ignore the Balrog, we just got to go for him. And then Legolas came on behind a warband.
So we mopped him up.
Yeah.
Then the Watcher came on at that side. Now they made a mistake, I think, because they put the Watcher over at that end where we were.
High courage,
Yeah.
2-handed weapons, plus 2 to wound. We're killing our normal guys are killing Watcher on force.
We also made a mistake though. So we mobbed the Watcher. Thranduil was on the end. The Balrog got into a knight. Which we were using as a blocker. I never thought about the combat. So he got his free combat. He then got in and touched Thranduil. So he pulled Thranduil off the Watcher. Now, luckily.
So then you stuck with the same fight as the Watcher.
So we both rolled a 6, but obviously Elven Blade roll off. We got the roll off.
Massive.
And killed him in 1 turn with just the knights.
You've 1 turn shield up and 1 turn the Watcher now.
Oh my god.
No way. But then you still got a Balrog to deal with. And crucially, the Balrog is dominant 10, so if it gets in the middle, you've got issues.
So before that, Louis put a shot in my Legolas.
Yeah, I spent.
And he was saying to me, well, I spent
I spent a point of might on the 5 to wound.
And I said, don't do it.
And then we needed that.
Wait. You wanted to spend a might to kill something, and Leon said, don't do it. It's the 2 trees first.
Leon's the voice of reason.
Then I had to spend another might
Because then I rolled the 3.
Because I rolled the 3 and I says don't do it. And he spent it and put a wound on them.
We just need to start chipping away. As soon as he gets to half wounds, then they break, and then it's
I was
a
worried
different
for
game.
moves. I was worried with the Chargers. Like, we need people in there for moves. Get the moves
do,
off.
Leon, you're right.
Late game.
You are 100% right.
But and then we got into the Balrog.
They then charged the Balrog with just Mirkwood Knights and it fluffed its dual roll, leaving them free to strike. It was pure Knights, but Thranduil was nearby and they'd gone two-handed, meaning they could wound it on 4s by 3s. They managed a massive 8 wounds, but it wasn't enough. He was left alive with a single wound remaining. Their opponents were now broken, but the game ends on the roll of a 1 or a 2, and it just wasn't ending. They had to feed the Balrog 2 knights a turn, 1 to tag it and 1 to stop the heroic combat, so they were quickly running out of models when Leon thought of an outrageous idea.
So then he got closer and closer and closer and closer. When the game wouldn't end, so then he gets within 6 inches of the objective with dominant 10.
So we thought, do you know what? Let's see if he'll pass an intelligence test.
We just played him a
So the Sentinel sent him away. Like, he made sure everybody was touching that base of that bit of scenery. And then he came.
By the time he got back, the game ended just as it was about to end.
I mean, Balrogs do not have luck against 2 trees. You've killed one with a firework, and now you've played a flute to defeat one. So, and final score then, what were we talking?
Well, it was 16-3.
So got a major win.
Major
win.
right?
Wow. We're against Katie and Chris, who you guys have played before, but
They're a double threat on table 6 because they're nice, they pay it well, and you've won 4 games. I mean, we're just about to clap them onto the leaderboard. Yeah, bastards.
The board is genuinely.
Like your rifle around in their pockets as well.
We'll come to the rifling in the pockets, but it's got to be the best board ever.
Yeah, incredible.
I will.
Incredible.
I'll put a little footage on from it, but they've got light up scenes of the whole Fellowship journey through Moria.
The Boromir holding back Frodo. The Boromir holding Frodo is amazing.
And even the Watcher itself has got the Fellowship in its tentacles. It's amazing. As soon as the models went down on the table, we didn't care about that anymore, and it was all about winning. So we were in the middle with the Witch King and my 9 Morannons, and the plan was essentially see where they put theirs, put Aaron's separate from it so that I could get the Witch King out to Aaron, let the Morannons in the middle die, and we mathed it out, although I was getting a bit twitchy.
Dirty.
I was getting twitchy that maybe we hadn't mathed it out, but basically the idea was let them have the middle, the Balrog's dominant 10. If they move it out the middle, we can maybe take it, but if not, the Balrog is stuck in the middle of the board. And then get all the other points.
I'm just going to elaborate on my plan a little bit there because we were obviously talking in the car immediately after the game, but basically I'm aiming for an 11-9 win, something Aaron was on board with because he also didn't want to try and kill a Balrog, but it was a very, very slim shot of actually working. But in cornered, you get 5 points if you can protect your leader and make it so he's not wounded. So in theory, we'd get 5 for that. And then they didn't have a banner, so we get 2. And if we can keep our banner alive, we get another 2. And if we can kill their most expensive model, we'll get another 2. That gives us 11. And then in theory, they break us for 3 points and take the middle of the board for 6 points, giving them 9. It would mean we had to keep our most expensive model, the Metal Troll, alive, the Witch King completely unharmed with no fate spent, and keep our banner alive as well. Wasn't going to be easy, but we were aiming for 11-9 so we didn't have to fight the Balrog. The game was an absolute classic. Aiming for an 11-9 victory meant there was no margin for error. It started well with me compelling the Cave Troll forward to be charged by the Witch King and a Mordor Troll who heroic combated into Chris's Goblin Captain, removing disposable might from that side of the battlefield. The Balrog though was already in combat with our orcs in the middle who promptly died. I foolishly spear supported, giving it an extra kill and an easy way to enter our fortification. The Watcher then popped up and we had 6 monsters all on the board waiting to see who would blink first. We toyed with each other for a turn, but clever combinations of their free heroic combat and the Watcher's tentacles meant that my banner and all of my models aside from the Witch King and my Troll were dead. There was now a lot of victory points riding on Aaron's banner and his Metal Troll, but this is why we built the list in the way we did. Our secondary force has more models and a banner of its own, so we weren't broken and victory points were still on the table. It was anyone's game. We were in a difficult situation though, where we had to leave our banner well out the way to preserve those victory points. That part was easy as long as we were careful, but we also had to keep our Witch King and Aaron's Metal Mordor Troll alive, and that's 3 models crucial to our killing potential. Their Balrog had come to kill and sauntered through the middle of the board, with me realising my plan was flawed. It has no reason to stay in the middle with its dominant 10 if we had no models in there, and it was killing things fast. The Watcher was still our main target though. We had to kill it to reach 11 victory points, and we risked its tentacles with the Witch King, and I charged into it with him and a bunch of fearless orcs. Chris played a blinder though. He only hit with a few tentacles, and rather than strike at the Witch King, he killed a couple of orcs and used the tentacles to move another to untrap himself. I'd used enchanted blades on the Witch King and heroic struck to guarantee the higher fight value, but it wasn't enough, and the Watcher was taken down to 3 wounds, leaving it much less potent, but the Witch King was now in a very dangerous position, and even worse, their Balrog killed a troll and wounded another in the same turn. Our plan to pivot toward taking the middle fell flat when they positioned themselves in a way that meant our trolls couldn't enter the terrain that we needed to capture, so it was all or nothing on the 11-9 plan. I flew away with the Witch King and left the Watcher to Aaron's orcs, who duly obliged and killed it over the next 2 turns. That was huge for us, but at the same time the Balrog killed our last spare troll, and now we have very few models left to protect our valuable victory point carrying models who were split around the battlefield. We couldn't lose a single one of the Witch King, the banner or the last troll, or the game would swing hugely in their favour. Oh, and we were broken now.
And then we've got a problem, didn't we, where we were split separate. We had a Mordor Troll, because we had to keep our highest value model alive, which Aaron's Metal Mordor Troll, with his Taskmaster and Captain and their Standfast. And then on the other side was the Witch King and the banner. Nothing in the middle apart from goblins and a Balrog that was just roaming free trying to kill everything. And you know what? because of their painting, I was like, this is going to be a lovely game. It was sweaty as fuck. It was such a hard game. We were both like really like doing our absolute best to just game the other team in the best way. What it meant was, had we mapped it out perfectly, luckily we had. They had the centre. They didn't kill the troll. The banner survived. The game ended.
The troll didn't run was the key.
Yes,
that was massive. -1 courage.
Yeah,
Balrog.
And the game didn't end the first time, did end the second time, which did us a massive favour, and it was an 11-9 win, about as tight as you could get.
Mental.
So then we're on 3 wins and a draw.
So why were you reaching around in people's pockets?
Oh, the pockets,
because
yeah.
they had characters of themselves.
You've literally left.
They let your rifle in their pocket.
You've literally left the best bit of it. I'm sitting here listening to all this mumbo jumbo. And now you get to
So they converted their goblin captains with themselves. And then they bought little chests, and if you killed them, you got to find out what they got in their pockets, which was gold coins.
Which they took out of their pockets and gave to us. There was no bringing around.
I think I remember reaching around in Chris's pocket.
Between games 4 and 5 is voting for the best army as nominated by the judges at Warhammer World. We unfortunately weren't nominated, and nor were Louis and Leon. Their board was obviously 3D printed by MESBG Repair, so check them out on Etsy. But of course that disqualifies them from being nominated for best army or best board. But what was there was utterly insane. Check out some of this stuff. So we're heading into game 5, currently all undefeated, which is just mind-boggling. The next scenario is going to be Clash of Champions, and it's all about kills. In Clash of Champions, each force deploys anywhere in their half of the board. Keep a track of how many kills the leaders of both forces score. Kills by shooting, magical powers, and the hurl brutal power attack do not count. You score 4 victory points if your leaders have killed more models than your opponent's leaders, 8 victory points if your leaders have killed twice as many models as your opponent's leaders, and 12 victory points if your leaders have killed 3 times as many models as your opponent's leaders. It's 1 victory point for breaking the opponent, or 3 if you're not broken and you break the opponent. 1 victory point for wounding the enemy leader, or 3 points for killing them, and 1 victory point for having a banner at the end of the game, or 2 if you have one and your opponent doesn't. The game ends when one force has been reduced to 25% of its starting number. There's a special rule for this scenario. For each army, whichever of the 2 leaders has the least kills gains +1 to wound in combat.
We knew who was on in and about where we were, and we matched the top 2 on top table, and then we were going to play this 80 goblin army led by goblin captains, and it was just going to be perfect. And then we walked over to the table, and Phil Bill walked over and dumped his ends in front of me. Oh, shit.
Down like that.
These beautiful painted ends.
Oh,
Beautiful painted ends,
With
but
Flapjack the
crucially,
Flapjacks were excellent.
how many beautiful painted ends?
Well, we had the 3 heroes and so 6 ents.
You got 6 kills maximum, plus Merry and Pippin.
Yeah.
So 8 kills maximum is all you can achieve in this game. That is a rough matchup. What was your strategy and how did you try
We
and
sat
make
down
it?
and like, we're going to give you a game. We're giving you a game.
You know what, just said that from you. He says, I'm going to make a game of this. We're going to make a game of this.
We're going to deploy at the back. We're going to get a few shots in and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And
So
they,
for about 3 or 4 turns, 5 turns, 6
5 or
turns,
6, yeah.
How was a shooting fight?
I get it because they're thinking if Thranduril's off his elk or Legolas is half dead, then there's not even a chance of us getting 1 or 2 kills. So I get it because strength 10, they've got the shooting one that hits on a 3, Treebeard's in on 3 with might. Like, I get it. Legolas put 2 6s on Treebeard in one of the first turns, and rolled 1 and 2 because it's 6s by 4s. So I was like, fuck.
So we pushed them out and kept them 6.5 away, right? Which then meant they had to start moving. So we started manipulating one side of their army.
Less rocks. So because we were in 6.5, they're like, "Oh, move this half back," and then they could only throw rocks. But we just because we'd done that, they kind of split off, just a 3 ent one side, 3 ent the other side, and at that point,
we pushed one up one side far enough,
and then we double back. So then Thranduil comes back, and then all of a sudden, our entire army can charge 3 ents.
So we managed to get Thranduil and Legolas into 1 ent next to Treebeard. We then put 2 on Treebeard. We were worried that obviously we worried that Treebeard was going to start throwing it as well. So we said right, we'll call a combat for definite, just so we definitely let that one goes off first. And struck with Thranduil. Thranduil struck up to 10.
So then Treebeard, in response to that, we were thinking he was going to strike. He heroic defensed.
Which means that it's a 6 and a 6 again.
Because it's 6s by 4s.
It becomes 6 by 6.
So the normal guys, but not Thranduil and not Legolas.
And that does your +2 to wound.
That's done. So we'd got 3 or 4 normal guys that needed 6s by 6s. We then had Thranduil and Legolas. Bear in mind, Thranduil and Legolas both are charged. So Thranduil's got 4, doubled to 8, and Legolas has got 3. So he's got 14 dice. Sheer weight of dice. So the normal guys did nothing.
Legolas.
Legolas impact hit on the way in.
Impact
hit on the way in was glorious.
For the win.
Yep.
Well, none of the warriors did anything because they needed 6s by 6s. So we tried it, and nothing happened. So then it's just down to Treebeard, down to Thranduil and Legolas. Thranduil puts 2 6s on him. He just takes the wound, and then Legolas drops 5 6s.
No.
5 6s.
No.
Importantly, he's not a cavalry model, so they don't take any fall damage. So they just drop to Thranduil's.
So, sorry, Phil. We used Pippin to heroic combat with Thranduil.
Exactly the same.
We put a knight in as well, just so it didn't fluff.
All of a sudden we're 5-0 up.
5-0.
With 1 turn with that trap.
And then what kind of?
The key thing is I rolled for priority about 6 times in a row. 100%. And they got the free move, but I never.
But we choose the order of the combat.
But he
That's
was in the
massive.
back as well, and it was
massive.
like, yes.
So what was the score? Against Ents on a killing scenario?
We didn't have a banner, so 18-0.
18-0.
It's
On table 2, after 3, so you're on 4 wins and a draw with an 18-0 in the last one.
kills.
I think we were both in the same boat, that they were thinking it was a great matchup, we were thinking it was a bit of a shit matchup.
They were also, they were.
But
they didn't know what
we had a proper game of it.
Yeah,
like, it was
and
really good.
they were bag. They couldn't believe how good Mirkwood Knights were. They were nice.
Because nobody ever plays them because they're £32 each.
When you see them in action, though, people are like, they're like, aye.
And the thing is, it's so nice to play against a pair that know the game inside out.
100%.
So they're rolling dice and everyone's switched on. It's like, right, that's an in the way, up and down, right, done,
You don't always get that.
And the fucking flapjack.
And the flapjack was honestly one of the best things I've ever tasted.
2 bites, I couldn't believe how good it was. I was like, flapjack's usually stodgy. And I'm like, 1 bit, I'm like, oh my God, I need to get the rest of this in my mouth right now.
Oh God, I think YouTube's going to remove this video now. Oh, God.
I genuinely can't believe that Louis and Leon managed to win that game and by such a margin. I think a lot of players would have let their heads go down at seeing that matchup, so it pains me to say it, but massive credit to them for taking the fight to the ends and then going on and winning. It's got to be one of Two Trees' best ever performances. It also gave me and Aaron the chance to go undefeated, or to have Two Trees go invincible. They're on 4 major wins and a draw. We're on wins and a draw at the moment. Anything will do for us, and we're drawn against 2 lovely opponents in Louis and Ash, and they've brought Defenders of Helm's Deep, and they set up right at the back of the board. We were going to be getting peppered with shots. We were hoping they'd kill a load of our orcs and we could get a cheeky kill with the Witch King, break ourselves and win that way, but they knew what they were doing and every possible shot went into the Witch King or the Trolls. They wanted to leave the easy to kill orcs to Gimli and Theoden. We used the Trolls to obscure line of sight to the Witch King as best we could, and they took hit after hit and only lost a wound or 2 between them, whilst the Witch King drew 2 points of might from Legolas in exchange for a single fate. We couldn't keep this up for long though, and we knew we had to get the Witch King into combat as soon as possible, just to deny their warriors the ability to shoot at him.
But then, yeah, it was actually Aaron's great idea. I mean, the first time we were able to reach,
over all the videos.
we commanded a royal guard out to a position where we could charge him on there after they'd won priority. We could charge him with 2 trolls and a Witch King. Heroic combat.
You finally used more than one will.
Use more than one. This one was important.
His hands were shaking as he picked up the second dice.
How do you feel that worked?
You know what?
I made him use 3 to do something.
It worked well because we smashed in with the Witch King, got that kill, smashed into 2 more guys, and killed spears behind with the trolls as well. And all of a sudden we killed like 12 guys, hadn't we?
Which sounds like it's going great, but I was struggling to finish the job. Gambling in his banner points was fateless and wounded, and a double 1 on an intelligence test saved him from a hurl from the Witch King, whilst their wounded Theoden survived in a similar fashion thanks to our dim-witted trolls. And it turns out Legolas is pretty good at killing stuff. He brought down a Mordor Troll to give Gimli +1 to wound. Theoden then brought down a second Mordor Troll to give Gimli +2 to wound, and yes, he can go two-handed for +3 to wound. Legolas also moved into the Witch King, who was on 6 kills, and fired 3 shots into him to wipe out our main threat.
And Aaron's up captain and racked up a couple of crucial kills, didn't he? Classic. Right at the end of the game before Legolas shot and killed him.
He knows what he's done. Kilgun, that's his name.
But with the Witch King having 6 or 7, your captain having 2, the Taskmaster was still the MVP. He gave might back at crucial points in the game. It meant we could move where we needed to move, pick the fights.
Insane. Best model I've ever bought.
Both armies broke at the same time, didn't they? And it was all really in the balance until Gimli, with +3 to wound.
Gimli fluffed 3 turns in a row against 2 orcs.
And that was it.
Couldn't kill them. Just needed to kill one of them and they'd have tied.
One would have tied. 2 would have put them ahead, but as it was, we won the kills and it ended up we won 7-5 in the end, wasn't it? Which puts us also.
Because the 2 banners, so he got in 2 combats, 2 elves on a banner and then 2 elves on a banner.
One banners. Did you
forget your banner?
Yeah, I moved that banner quite a lot.
But yeah, they failed to wound. Won both combats, failed to wound both times. Both banners survived. 7-5 win.
Wait, so are we both on 4 wins and a draw?
4 wins and a draw. We're 2 minor wins though.
2 minor wins, 2 major wins and a draw, and you're 4 major wins and a draw.
We've wiped each other out.
We have wiped each other out. It's a fucking nightmare.
I know.
So it's on to results, and a massive congratulations to Gully's Gruesome Guys, who won Best Painted Army. It was absolutely incredible. Loads of converted spectres. Definitely didn't want to play it on the table. Definitely looked really, really cool. Big shout out to Katie and Chris, who didn't actually finish in the top 3 for their board. I don't know what happened there, but honestly, that was my favourite board there. And well done to everybody else who got nominated for that. It was utterly insane standard. It must have been so close on all the votes. Louis and Leon got best in bracket, as they were the best performing team with 4 wins based on a purely competitive game score. So in first place, was Damien and Adam Trokenburn. They're serial winners. That's Damien of SBG magazine fame. Again, we'll have one of these to give away soon. He gave that to me because he's nice. He wasn't even pandering for votes, the damn guy. But really, really nice opponents to play against by all accounts. So well done to Trokenburn. And myself and Aaron managed to finish in 3rd place.
Woo! Third place, absolutely. But I mean, our opponents were all excellent, weren't they?
Yeah, they were very good.
We were so lucky with who we got drawn
I did
against.
a lot of work doing the socialising. I'm exhausted, to be honest. Me and the Outtakes master are absolutely knackered. We've done a lot of work.
I mean, yeah, it was incredible, isn't it? I mean, and then the whole event's been excellent, and we finished 2nd in the quiz as well. It happens. Absolutely buzzing.
Brilliant.
And the next tournament we'll be going to is the Jack's Dragon tournament. That's just me going to that one, and I'm going to be bringing a dragon or a dragon slayer, which is part of the army build,
nice.
in with some other stuff. So we'll probably do a little discussion about that because I've not thought about it yet. But looking forward to that. And then after that, it'll probably be Throne of Schools, which we're coming for you, Damien.
Yeah.
Thank you for the magazine. I look forward to absolutely ending you on the table.
What is wrong with you? Now he's not going to want to come.
That's all part of the plan. Just put him off. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great tournament, wasn't it, boys?
Well done, guys. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Louis and Leon got 7th place. So that's between the 4 of us over the last 2 years. We had a 1st, a 3rd, a 4th, and a 7th. So really, really happy with that. Absolutely amazing tournament. Hopefully you're enjoying all our content here on Two Trees. Obviously these videos are quite long. They take an awfully long time to edit, but I'm assuming if you've got this far, you're already subscribed. If you're not, please do that. And a huge thank you to the Patreons that keep the channel going, that support us, that give me the motivation to do this, that put posts in the Discord when maybe I'm a bit busy at work and I just get a little bit of a Middle Earth hit by looking at my phone. It really does mean a lot, and it's nice to see you guys at tournaments like this. We'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching.
We've all got matching t-shirts on. First time ever.
How have you done that? How have we managed that?
You've got a horrible list, but nobody's going to think Leon's done that.
It's going to be a proper test of Leon's niceness, isn't it?
Oh, that is...
I'm not a horrible person.
But you know what? People that aren't horrible people always have to say they're not horrible people. That's how that works, yeah. So, give us a quick rundown of what you're bringing with you.
Well, we knew, obviously, because we do it in rotation, we knew this was coming for the last 3 years. But we couldn't sell anything. We both happened to mention that we have a stupid amount of Mirkwood Cav. So we're like, right, I've never seen one.
The stupid amount of Merkle Cav is 6 Merkle Cav.
I had 6. We had
12.
I then picked up another 4.
Long story short, we are an almost fully mounted Mirkwood Cav army,
Amazing.
which has never been seen.
And
And the obviously the almost bit that isn't almost is a very shooty army as well. So, I mean, we're trying to balance it out from being dickheads to really big dickheads.
is Dom coming? Is it?
Yeah, he's there. Yeah, he bought a Goblin Tail. Because he's thought, right, how can I bring... If I bring 100 models, he can't paralyze them all.
We're at a Warhammer
Oh my
World.
god, your hair is so big it is blocking out both their faces.
We're at a Warhammer.
I mean, it's been sweaty there.
It's the humidity.
It's the humidity.
It is the humidity. It's genuine. We're going to go in and do the pub quiz.
No, we're not. We're going to go in and play a third game.
Looking forward to
game 3.
Whoops. Yeah, this is happening after game 2. Can't wait for game 3. I wonder what's going to happen.
I've got in game 3, guys.
But yeah, game 3 coming up. Also a cracker. Maybe. Fuck's sake. So we've had the King of the Dead and Gorfindel now with our 3 trolls.
Beat them both.
I'll cut that. With our 3 trolls.
Beat one of them. Did we beat the other one?
And we've come into day 2 and it's game 3 and the scenario.
No, it's game 4, you knobhead.
And then game 4 is
Game 5. Why?
Oh, my brain is melted.
So when you get to the last finger, that's 5.
So my brain is fried. So game 5 is the equivalent of Contest of Champions, but it's the leaders from each half. Leon didn't love that one.
Sorry, no. I had to be on there. I just killed these. Jake's like, I think I'll just go for a 1. I'll use a 1.
He's sat there.
How many you got left, Jake? 15.
Turn 7. 12 minutes to go. Jake's got 18. One of them.
Jake's like, we really need to transfix this guy. I've only got 14 well left. 2 turns to go. I'm going to do a cheeky 1 dice.
If this doesn't come off, we will lose the game. 2 dice.
In the most recent game, the game had actually factually finished because I passed 25%. And I was like, spend all but 1.
Yeah. In fact, the game was literally finished, and he's like, I only used 2. I'm like, how many would you have left? And he's like, 5, and I'm like, I used 4 because the game has to finish. There's nothing can happen.
Welcome to Two Stumps Gaming. After Archie's back in the test match team.
Yeah. Leon was watching the cricket with us last night as well.
Aye, it was good. I was just watching all the oddly shaped athletes. And I watched them, and I'm using the word athletes, and I'm very
If
abbreviated.
you line up all the cricketers and all the people at Warhammer World, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
Then we went and dealt with Sheila. The ranger put a wound on her.
Yeah.
Failed her.
Surviving.
To tear off. I was obviously going for the best game vote and the nice council, but I did ask if I could roll the dice to see how many wounds to be on her, and I put 11 wounds on her. So.
11.
You know when you come fourth, that's why. They said, oh, we normally do it at the end of the turn, but you just shouted what's in his pocket.
As we charged the troll.
So they were like, we had to give it to you then and there. We didn't really want to, but you didn't stop shouting, chanting, what's it got in his pockets? So I think they were regretting it a little bit.
Yeah. Thanks for the chocolate coins.
Yeah.
And thank you to the patrons that came to the Patreon event the night before.
Yeah.
Sign up for the Patreon if you want to support the channel.
Should say David and Morgan got an Army nom as well. They're in our
Group for Edinburgh. Well done. Absolutely brilliant. The army was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was.
Well painted.
Yeah.
I'll cut that out because they don't pay Patreon. No, I'm joking. Let's go. Let's get Chinese.